Southeast Queensland is one of the fastest growing regions in Australia. It's now home to more than 5 million people. And it also has some of the most fertile soil in the world. A new kind of food producer is making the most of it. Meet your local urban farmer.
There's no downside in my mind to urban farming. We're essentially turning lawns into food.
The farmer sells directly to the consumers, generally doesn't use a lot of big machinery, is normally always organic, and needs to actually collaborate with property owners, community, local governments in order to get resources.
This growing community of urban farmers are improving the soil, installing tanks, planting crops and greening the concrete jungle.
With all the systems that we have in place around the farm, the whole insect populations increase as well as birds and all that sort of stuff. It's really creating a really nice diverse habitat, a bit of a sanctuary.
Millen Farm, 30 minutes north of Brisbane's CBD, occupies about 5,000 square metres of lush Samford Valley land. It was a CSIRO research station. The facility was decommissioned nearly 20 years ago. The council acquired the land. A group of locals pushed for an urban farm. And they've been enjoying the harvest in more ways than one.
This is the start of our 4th year now on the farm. So we're starting to see some fantastic results now.
Permaculturalist and market farmer Aaron Heidemann was recruited in 2016 because the site was not fit to produce food.
We were deficient in just about everything for growing food. We got soil tests done through EAL. We then worked with an agronomist to find out the things that we're exactly deficient in, the amounts of trace elements and minerals that we could put back in at any one time. So that's how we've been really working on that soil. The organic matter way down as well.
After a lot of work and mulch and help from volunteers, Millen now operates as a not-for-profit business and commercial organic farm.
So we've got 65 productive rows of crops running all the time. We've got over 1,000 trees plus the orchard up the top. So the production rate, yeah, it's way up there.
The proof is on display at the farmers market Millen holds once a week, which sells locally grown food straight to the Samford community.
You got to get here early to get the good stuff.
I just think it's the way of the future, personally. And I like the bananas.
And its workshops, held right across the Moreton Bay area, are steadily converting hundreds of city dwellers into small-scale food producers.
Then you'll start to understand that specific location and what's going on in that location.
What role do urban farms play in the broader story of Australian agriculture and food supply? Sure, there's an element of helping to skill up families keen to put extra food on the table, but they also play a part in helping to make our broader food system more sustainable.
People in the city are the consumers of most of the food, they generate most of the green waste, and there is land available, and even if it's rooftops, the issues of food security can be definitely buffered by urban agriculture anywhere in the world.
Peter Carney has been an urban agricultural consultant in southeast Queensland for more than a decade. He's witnessed the growing interest in urban food production amongst small communities and big businesses firsthand. He worked closely with the Moreton Bay Regional Council to help set up Millen Farm, but recognises there are barriers to further growth.
I think it's mostly land access. I mean, there is land, but it's more getting the councils and the landowners to start to look at the potential that land can also have an ecological and an economic aspect. So it's really combining those three, which I think are the three pillars of urban agriculture.
The council is keen to expand, with plans to create the largest urban farm network in Australia.
And we've got a large region, it's nearly 2,500 square kilometres, so there are a lot of areas like this that have that infill capability. So once they come up with the final numbers of what sort of land pockets we've got available, we'll be coming back with the community of what sort of scale we can do this in.
Liam Hughes converted a small patch of ferny hills north of Brisbane into a few crops in 2016. The land used to be his father's front lawn, but now it's a full-time farm, complete with farm gate.
Well, I wanted to keep it local as possible. You know, we grow the food here and we sell the food here. And it's all just about trying to get people down. It's probably one of the biggest challenges. I try and have a good presence on social media and advertise as much as I can.
Even established producers on the urban fringe are buying into the urban farming scene. Ian Burrows is a fourth-generation farmer from Mount Cotton, about 40 minutes south of Brisbane's CBD. He wasn't satisfied with the prices he was getting for his avocados and lychees at the city's main wholesale produce market and saw an opportunity to trade directly with consumers engaging in the emerging market system attached to urban farms.
You try and work a market like Mill and Farm. They came to me a couple of years ago and said, look, can you bring your bits and pieces there to make the market so it was a bit more viable? I think it's, 3 years now that we've been doing that.
Urban farming offers a different economic opportunity for Alice Starr and Phil Garozzo. They collect food scraps from local cafes to fuel their produce plots in Draper and sell what they grow right back to the cafes in their community.
It has been difficult because there has been no precedent for it, so we're constantly having to convince people to do things differently and trying to encourage people to change their habits.
But their persistence has paid off, and the circular trade model helps shield them during tough times.
For us, we are so lucky to be on the edge of a city, have water and access to a huge market of people to sell to.
There's another aspect to urban farming in southeast Queensland worth mentioning. These farms tend to be located in suburban neighbourhoods. Perhaps because of that fact, many of them have a close relationship with their local community.
It is difficult for urban farmers on their own to really compete unless they weave the community into their space.
Community is key to Nick Steiner and the team at the Mini Farm Project. The charity converts privately owned but underutilised city spaces into food crops for those in need.
I think our volunteers get a sense of joy where they can just leave their life at the gate. They come in, they touch the soil, they harvest. They also get to see where we deliver the food and they get a sense of fulfilment.
With 3 sites across Brisbane, the Mini Farm Project is set for growth alongside southeast Queensland's thriving urban farming community.
We started off with, I think it was 8 rows of 10 metres, and you can grow so much food in such a small space. A lot of backyards in Brisbane have that much space, so you can really grow a lot for your local community in a really small area.